We have an update on Giannis Antetokounmpo and the timeline in which him and the Milwaukee Bucks will operate with as we head into the offseason that is headlined by him potentially being traded. This episode is presented by PrizePicks. And before we dive into this all, make sure you subscribe for daily Heat content. We'll be live for the NBA Lottery on Sunday. And let's do an NBA Lottery sub battle here at Chat Sports. All four of these teams are vying for the number one pick. Hit that sub button, and who knows, maybe the good juju, if we get the most subs, means we get the number one pick. But Jimmy Haslam, who also owns the Browns and the Milwaukee Bucks, said while they were at a press event for Taylor Jenkins, the new head coach there in Milwaukee, that his relationship with Giannis is better than what others might actually like to say from the outside. But also, he said specifically that a decision on the future of Antetokounmpo in Milwaukee will likely be decided before the NBA draft. This is what he went on to say, saying if Giannis does play somewhere else, we got to get a lot of assets. That's Josh Glessing's job to do that. If Giannis is here, then you build the team differently. I do want to stress, despite what is reported by some ESPN writers, our relationship with Giannis is very positive. Well, hearing that both the Bucks and Giannis sides want to probably get a decision made by the NBA draft, that is music to my ears, and it should be for you as well as Miami Heat fans. Why? Well, because we have seen over the last 5 seasons and off seasons how frequently Miami puts all of their eggs in one basket. And if it doesn't work out, which it has not worked out so far, the Miami Heat are forced to essentially just run it back. I mean, they did this with Damian Lillard a couple years ago in 2023. They did it with KD in 2022, putting all their eggs in that basket. They didn't pursue Donovan Mitchell hard enough, and then he gets ultimately traded to Cleveland from Utah. Like, you can't run it back. And I get it. Giannis Antetokounmpo is a top 5 player in the league, arguably top 3, how you want to slice it. Him, SGA, Luka, Jokic, however you want to talk about it. Giannis is in those conversations. So, yeah, like, he is a player that you do, if you think he get traded, hold out other moves to try to get him. But we have seen Miami run it back way too much. I mean, if I have, and no offense to these guys, but if I have to watch Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo lead basketball in Miami for another season, I'm going to lose it. And I am. And I like both those guys as people and as players. But we know what the ceiling is on a team headlined by those two. You cannot have those two guys be your best players again next season. And if you hold out to try to get a trade done for Giannis and he goes somewhere else, and in the meantime, players like Kawhi are dealt somewhere, or even Kevin Durant, potentially, and you're forced to say, all right, we either just got to go get Ja Morant or basically just stick with our draft packs and do a youth movement, well, that's a disaster, and I'm going to be checked out before the season begins next year. Let me know. Predict it. Do the Heat trade for Giannis? Do they get it done? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know your thoughts. Coming up, I am going to show you what I think the Heat's offer for Giannis Antetokounmpo would be, but I actually want to kick it to Giannis because he was asked about new head coach Taylor Jenkins. He said he's an incredible person. I had the conversation with him, having a good person around that's going to be able to set the tone, that set the culture, and what Milwaukee Bucks basketball is all about. He's a really good coach. But also in this conversation with a reporter about Taylor Jenkins, he was asked straight up, are you going to be coached by Taylor Jenkins? Giannis Antetokounmpo said, we'll see. I also would like to read between the lines and the verbiage Giannis used when speaking to the reporter. How many times in that little quote you saw in that article did he say Milwaukee, the Bucks? He didn't say we. And I think even if as little as it may be, that change in tone of saying Milwaukee, the Bucks instead of we, us, that tells you Giannis's head is probably somewhere else, and I think he does get traded this offseason. Today's show is sponsored by PrizePicks, America's #1 sports picks app. You can get it on the playoff basketball action every single day, but if that's not for you, well, you can do different sports as well, whether it's hockey, soccer, golf, esports, so many different options. Y'all know I'm a big golf guy. I've got an entry in for the Truist Championship starting today. Now, there is a rain delay, so that may impact things, but my lineup, more on Ricky Fowler birdies. Thinks he plays low. He's historically played Quail Hollow quite well. I'm also going less on Patrick Cantley and Siwoo Kim strokes. Think they both shoot 1 under or better. You can tell every lineup I put out, but you got to follow me to see my lineups before I post them on the show. My username is RollyCS. They've also got weekly specials like Flex Friday, Taco Tuesday. Take advantage. You can also get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup right now when you download the PrizePicks app today, create an account, and use code HMA. That is code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Shout out to PrizePicks. It will not be easy to acquire Giannis Antetokounmpo as he is on the trade market. I don't think many people think it's going to be easy, but the Heat were the finalist in the Giannis sweepstakes back in February during the trade deadline. I mean, it was reported by Shams that the Heat's offer was considered, and it was the last offer that was told no. So there was some level of intrigue from Milwaukee on the package that Pat Riley and the Heat front office offered. It was better than the Timberwolves. It was better than the Warriors, better than the Knicks at the time. But there is going to be a new crop of teams that are targeting Giannis on the trade market this offseason, right? You know, Golden State and Minnesota are going to run it back as well as Miami, but you've got a team like the Charlotte Hornets who might look to accelerate their kind of build with Con Kneppel, Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball. You've got Boston who easily could shake it up and move on from one of Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. You've got Houston who is probably going to look to make a big splash. Not even pictured here. You can even contemplate the Orlando Magic offering a Banchero or a Franz Wagner alongside draft capital, although they don't have much to try to go get Giannis. Now, there are a couple teams I'm really not worried about in terms of competing with their package, one being the Golden State Warriors. Do they have 5 first-round picks that they can trade on draft night? Absolutely. They have 4 at their disposal right now, and on draft night, they could trade the rights to their lottery pick, which is right now at 11 overall. You'd also have to attach Jimmy Butler, but there's really no intrigue from the Bucks side outside of the draft capital. And sure, maybe those draft picks could be beneficial 3-4 years down the line when Giannis is either not on Golden State or by himself as Curry is retired, but the picks over the next couple of years, well, they're not going to be as impactful. I'm really not that concerned about the Timberwolves either. They would have to absolutely decimate their roster. They only have 2 first-round picks that they can really trade, that being 2030 and 2032, or 2030 and 2033. I forget which ones it is. But they only have 2 first-round picks they can trade. Now, the contracts they'd have to offer looks like a combination of Naz Reid, Julius Randle. They could include Jaden McDaniels, but would Minnesota be willing to do that with how well McDaniels has looked? And he's kind of like the heart and soul of that team alongside Anthony Edwards. So unless they offer Jaden McDaniels, I don't really think they get a trade done with Milwaukee, which is why I'm not concerned about Golden State or Minnesota. But I do start to get concerned when we talk about Boston, Charlotte, and Houston. I mean, you look at what the Hornets can offer. Are they going to trade one of LaMelo, Brandon Miller, or Con Kneppel? I find that extremely unlikely. But they could package the salaries of Miles Bridges, Josh Green, and Grant Williams to match Giannis, and you could say, well, those players aren't really valuable for the Bucks. You're correct. But what does Charlotte have that other teams don't? 7 tradable first-round picks. I'm not saying that they are going to offer all 7. It would be kind of insane if they did do that, but they are capable of doing that if they chose to. And so if Milwaukee was looking just for the most draft picks possible, Charlotte could easily have that get done. But Houston is the team that, hey, if Giannis wants to go to Houston and pair up with KD and he would be fine extending there, it might be night-night. Because the Bucks could get Alperen Şengün, Jabari Smith, and up to 6 first-round picks. That doesn't even include the Houston Rockets offering a player like Reed Shepherd, Amen Thompson, amongst other young guys. Tari Eason's a restricted free agent. Not that that really matters, but you kind of get the point. They have better young players to offer. They have a lot of first-round picks that they can offer Milwaukee as well. If I'm the Bucks, that is the trade I'm looking to do. Why? Well, you send Milwaukee, or you send Giannis to the West rather than the East. You get a cornerstone center in Alperen Şengün, and you get a shit ton of draft capital. You know, that's probably the trade I would try to do if I was Milwaukee and Giannis signed off on going to Houston. And then there's this one. It's the Celtics, which I hate. I mean, obviously, this would be devastating for me personally, as I am the biggest Boston Celtics hater maybe alive. But you look at what they can offer. There are rumors they're breaking up JT and JB. Jaylen Brown is kind of a nut case, if we're going to be honest right now. I mean, what he did after getting eliminated, going on stream, calling out officiating, and saying this was his favorite year of his career when they blew a 3-1 lead and his co-star Jason Tatum was out for 65 games, saying this was a favorite year over the season you won Finals MVP and won an NBA Finals is wild. But if you're the Celtics and you can pair up Giannis and Jason Tatum, why would you not do that? Especially when you don't even have to trade Derek White. I mean, you offer potentially 2 first-round picks. You can offer more, and a top 15 player is going to be on the first or second All-NBA team this year in Jaylen Brown, who's still 28, 29 years old. Well, I think Milwaukee, if they don't want to immediately go into like a tank, getting 2 first-round picks, Jaylen Brown alongside Miles Turner, they obviously have a lottery pick this season. They'd get another one in the late first round and a 2028 first-round pick. I mean, yeah, it would sting to send them to Boston, and it would make the Celtics really, really freaking good, but that is the quickest way to really get a jump start on this rebuild if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, and this is obviously another scenario to where the Rockets package isn't on the table. And all you can see is, like, there's good offers here, and I mentioned it. Like, the Magic could get involved if they really wanted to as well. So now that we looked at pretty much everybody else's trade offer, where does it stand for Miami? Well, this is the best Heat offer I think you're going to see. Now, Miami could add a 4th first-round pick, right? They're capable on draft night of sending 4, 2029, 2031, and 2033, and then the rights to the pick in the lottery. You would also attach those draft picks to Hero and Wiggins for salary, Kel'el Ware, Hawkes. You get Portis and Giannis back. You'd have a front court potentially of Paolo Larson, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Bam Adebayo. Backcourt TBD, you would still have Davion Mitchell. You'd still have Kasparas Giacochonis. You make some moves in free agency. But that's what it's going to take. Like, if you want to beat out trade offers from a Boston, a Houston, a Charlotte, you're going to have to put all of that on the table. You have to unleash the mother load. Now, things could become incredibly complicated this upcoming Sunday when the lottery is revealed. If Miami's lottery pick at 13 jumps inside the top 4, that changes a lot. Because if you offer a top 4 pick, whether it's 1, 2, 3, or 4, that makes your package almost undeniable, right? But it also changes the equation of, like, hey, if we get the number 1 pick, or number 2, or number 3, or number 4, are we going to change our thought process on what we're doing this offseason? Should we even trade for Giannis? Or should we just commit to drafting one of these guys in the top 4, whether it's Caleb Wilson, DeBansta, Peterson, or Boozer, and build around that pick and Bam Adebayo, as well as some other young guys you have. So a lot can change this Sunday based off the lottery results, which is why you got to subscribe, because we'll not only have daily content, but we'll have a live show on Sunday for the lottery and a video reaction of the pick that Miami ultimately gets. So stay locked in.